Hi, this is Malcolm Blight, and you're listening to the Crowject.
He's made a shot out 51. Kicks from 45. Starts right, but it's coming back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the Crowject podcast. Just want to give a disclaimer off the top. If you're looking for positivity or a false sense of security out of this pod, you have come to the wrong place. I suggest you turn off now. But for those of you that are still here, we may as well continue. Want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Inso Lee Designs, Nathaniel's Coffee and Panini's, Trojan Aluminium and ARC General Maintenance. Just a brief rundown of what's ahead. We're going to discuss the insipid loss against the Hawks, your thoughts and voice messages, all your favourite segments and much more. We'll have segment straight afterwards with Fantasyland, Around the Grounds, Beryl and Cecil of the Week, and wanted to give a shout out to our Patreons who continue to support us. A big thank you to you. You can become one for as little as $1 a month by heading to patreon.com/Crowject. Without further ado, there's no one in the lotion pit tonight. They're still crying themselves to sleep. But we do have Benny Mac.
Good evening. How are you?
Today, good.
Yeah.
Good Monday. Shit Saturday. We'll get there. Soph.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? You still...
Yeah, I'm good. I'm better now.
Okay.
Better now.
Good.
48 hours makes a lot of difference. I mean, the overall thought process of the game hasn't changed, but we're 2 days closer to the next one.
I also found that if you just think that the game didn't happen at all, I felt a lot better. Just pretending that it didn't happen. It was good.
Yes.
That's a lot harder to do when you flew over for it.
That sounds like
it
a
makes
problem.
it really hard.
Well, yeah, it could have been worse for me, so sorry.
yeah, you
Sorry
pulled out of the
to
trip
hear.
for
My
a
heart
reason.
bleeds for you. What's worse, going to Melbourne for that game or going to Melbourne for Niall Horan? It's a coin flip.
Wow.
It's a real coin flip. But we'll jump into the result, even though I don't want to. Soph, what was the final score?
Crows 12 goals, 880 to Hawks 16 goals, 11, 107. That score made it seem like we played better than what we did.
Oh, yeah. What was it, 5 minutes into the third quarter? When they go on bang, 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 bang. It was like 8-9 goals.
Yep.
Benny Mac, we did have some goal kickers at least. Who were they?
I'm glad they're on this sheet because my head was buried into a tin when they were kicked. But Cook and Burgess kicked 3, Fogarty kicked 2, Scholl, Jones, Schoenberg and Murphy kicked 1.
Let's start by, fuck the dot points here. Let's start by a general overview of the game. So if you go first.
That was a bit shit, wasn't it? I actually did not write any notes about the game itself because I couldn't think of anything. I have no words for that performance. Like, all year, whenever I've been on here, I keep saying, I'm not going to be concerned until next year when this is happening. But I tell you what, I'm very concerned right now. This game has very quickly changed my thoughts on a lot of things. And I'm scared and I don't like it here.
Totally valid. Just, I don't know. We just didn't wake up, didn't come out the rooms, didn't do anything until right on here after 3/4 time. But even then it was just a little patch and Hawthorn were just all over us.
Why does this keep happening at away games? Like, what are we doing that's...
Yeah.
Or not doing more so? Everything.
Yeah.
I've already touched on the words false sense of security. The most disappointing thing for me, and overall the entire game, I'm sure we'll get into it, was extremely disappointing. But whether or not that win last week against West Coast, which we thought was going to provide a springboard for us over our next 2 or 3 weeks, whether or not the team got high on their own bathwater and just went in thinking it would happen and they lulled themselves into a false sense of security before the ball was bounced. One thing, there's a saying, and it's control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what you do, what sport you play, anything, the one thing that you can control is your effort.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another game over the weekend, which people would have seen the result of up in Darwin. And people are smashing Melbourne from pillar to post because the effort just wasn't there. The thing is, Melbourne were a top 4 team. Okay, they've dropped to 10th. But the Crows have been underwhelming, fair to say, as it is this year. You get a big win, albeit over a shit team, last week. If you want to be taken seriously, then Saturday, this Thursday against Richmond, they're all great opportunities to prove to people, okay, the Crows may not be living up to the hype this year, but they're still putting in. And that's what Matthew Nix has said in weeks gone past. With, like, people have asked him about Billy Dowling coming in, and he said, like, I read about it, I hear all about it, whatever, but the current group we've got at the moment is putting in. And yesterday, I couldn't name 5 blokes that put in.
It was grim.
And that's... Sorry, Saturday. And that's the most disappointing thing.
Yeah. And it was right from the start.
Yep.
It just, I don't know, just never looked like it all day. And thank God for Jaden Ellidy buying footy cards at the footy on Saturday, because that gave us the most entertainment throughout the day.
Like, even at half-time, you're down by 5 goals. Okay, you're not playing great footy. 2 goals, 6 to 7-5, you're not kicking straight either.
Yeah.
But at half-time, surely as a group, you're just thinking, okay, if we can come out and get the first 2 of the third quarter, snap it to a 3-goal margin, then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
But then they came out at half-time and Hawthorn just go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, it was the same stuff.
Yep.
Did they keep the first 4 of the quarter, I think?
Potentially. It got out to nearly 50 points, the margin.
Yeah.
And then Hawthorn seemed to relax a bit and realise, we've got this pretty easy. And then we got our few quick goals and we're like, oh, is it happening? But then no, definitely not.
Like, well, I'm not hanging shit, but like, I'm acknowledging that the Crows were pathetic on the weekend. But at the same time, you've got to give your flowers to Hawthorn.
Yeah.
And coming in throughout the week, their last 4 to 5 weeks have been a great standard.
Yep. They started poor, but they've definitely picked up the last few weeks and they're being very competitive.
I mean, the Port game,
yeah,
they were stiff as a board to lose that.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, they've had pretty pleasing results, but the one thing that you can put down to them is putting in the effort.
Yep.
And you knew that they were going to bring that.
Yep. It looked like most of our guys didn't even want to be out there. It was like, at least try and make it look like you were making an attempt.
Yeah, there we go. In the first 4.5 minutes of the third quarter, they'd kicked 3 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just it breaks you back as a Crows player, just coming out. Like, you're looking at 5 minutes into the third quarter and all of a sudden it's gone from 29 points to 47, 48. You look, well, I mean, then you just know you're cooked. Then the Crows kick a couple. But then, to their credit, Hawthorn, who are still a rebuilding team, and let's be honest, their list isn't as good as ours, or at least we thought, they were able just to take the sting out of it.
Yeah.
And not let us, the Crows, get momentum and turn those 2 in a row into those 3 that they kicked, 4, 5, and get that run on.
Mm-hmm.
And that demonstrates a lot of maturity and growth within that team, which is what I think Crows fans were expecting from us this year.
Yeah.
And that's disheartening, to say the least.
I definitely noticed this year, if we don't start quick and strong, it just sets us up for the whole game and for us to be chasing from the get-go. If we can't start strong, get those quick goals to begin with and kind of set the tone for the rest of the game, we do struggle from there on.
Yeah. I mean, the first couple of minutes were okay. Ben Keys had a shot from about 50 out, but we had a couple of shots in a row and then we couldn't convert them, and Hawthorn just ran away from there. It was just, I don't know, it was a strange game.
Yes.
So obviously we went in unchanged, which wasn't necessarily surprising.
Yeah.
Given the big win last week. In saying that, of those people that were kept, who impressed you, if anyone?
Ball Ace and Murphy for me, which are 2 people who I never thought I'd come on here and say impressed me. They gave effort all day and I thought they were pretty good.
I agree. Ball Ace, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then other than that, Cook was good, but I mean, his stat sheet probably looks pumped up by those 3 goals. He didn't really have a good game outside of that.
I mean, at half time, he had a touch.
Yeah.
I think maybe one touch.
Yeah. When he kicked his first goal, it was his 3rd touch of the game because Jade was like, oh, he's had a massive game there. And then
Fogarty was the same.
Yeah.
I think he had 2 touches in the first half and a tackle.
Yeah. Second half, he lifted. You could see he was trying to bring us back, but I don't know, a lot of the game plan let a lot of our players down, I think.
And Tech's out, obviously, at half time with his back or whatever it was, which he was carrying into the season from all reports. I
feel like he should have been rested well before now, even just like an odd game. And I thought that was our expectation going into this season as well, that he would have a few breaks every now and then.
Yeah. I think the issue's been you've had injuries to Thilthorpe, you've had injuries to Himmelberg.
Just kind of stopped that.
Yeah, it puts a bit of a hole there. But
and whether or not they were trying to get through to the bye with him, knowing there's not that much time to go before it, even if he had have hypothetically played Hawthorn, Richmond this week and then rest him for the Sydney game, knowing that it's a tall task to say the least, then so be it. But he just hasn't made it there.
Yeah.
So
I know it was just it wasn't a great day overall. Obviously Dawson had his test before the game for his foot. Crouch, I don't know when he injured his AC joint, but obviously played through that. Tex, a few other blokes. Saligo was obviously managed a little bit for a half last week. So
it'll be interesting to see how much this holds Tex back. Even when he was playing early in the year, like it was affecting him without him coming out and saying it was affecting him, because how many times did we see him try and soccer the ball off the ground to avoid trying to pick it up? So even if he does come back, is his back going to be 100%? Probably not. Otherwise, what do? You just keep him out for 4 weeks? I mean, you got nothing to lose either way. Yeah. It's not like we're playing for anything.
No.
Yeah, who knows? Now, Matthew nicks at halftime saying we need to reset.
Yep. Interesting one. Well, we did need to reset because what we were doing wasn't working. We were chipping it around the back lines. Like the last few weeks, we've been kicking through zones just through the middle of the ground. But this week, for whatever reason, it was chipping from one side of the ground to the other. And then bomb it long to a contest, ball goes out and it comes back. And we just kept doing that.
Constant through the whole game. They wouldn't look forward. They just kept looking sideways or behind them. And I'm like, just try and make something happen because clearly this isn't working. Hawthorn can see that. They're getting on top of us because they know exactly what we're going to do. It's predictable, but we still kept doing it.
Exactly. And on the odd occasions when we got forward or got through the zone, we're bombing it to 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 or an outnumbered
Always
contest.
Outnumbered. Yep.
So, he said we needed to reset at halftime in his interview and then we came out and did more of the exact same until, late in the third quarter, like we said, when we got a bit of a roll on, but was dead and buried by that stage. And
I think we just have, if I had to identify one trait or one thing that we're missing in this team, it just seems like we need so much more leg speed.
Yeah.
And we have always been so slow.
Like, it plays into that kind of game.
Yep.
Like, it's all well and good to have fast ball movement. And in the past, you might have had Brodie Smith running through and breaking a line. But there's some footage that Ben sent through to a group of ours today about Brodie Smith who got turned around 40 metres from goal.
Yeah, led to an open Hawks goal.
And he couldn't even run back with Dylan Moore. Yep. Like, he got burnt by 20 metres back to the goal line.
Yeah. And he was the main perpetrator of the dump kicks quite a lot on Saturday as well. There was one play, was that our end? So I reckon it was the third quarter where a couple of the young guys were sort of trying to chip through the zone and then it got to Brodie Smith, not quite in the middle of the ground, just behind. And he's just bombed it out wide to a contest. Like, you could see what we were trying to do and people were leading around and he just bombed it away. And there was another one that he kicked it out of bounds on the full, I think, in the first or second quarter. And oh my God, I lost it. He just is not providing anything for us at the moment for mine. I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Now, Elodie's not here. She's in the middle of her latest diplomat ambassadorial role over in Thailand. Yeah.
She was looking at she got a text on the way to the ground being like, there are Category 3 storms in Thailand. Make sure when you get off the plane, check your phone for updates and stuff. She's like, I don't even know what a Category 3 storm is. Nah. She's like, should I be worried? I'm like, maybe.
I mean, it's
it
more
could
than
be
Category
worse.
2, less than Category 4.
That's what I said. It's
Exactly.
an average number.
Yeah. Because everything normally goes from 1 to 5, surely.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
send in the middle.
Yeah.
4 you're in trouble, 5 you're dead, 3 you're up.
Yeah.
Good analysis.
Now, because she's not here, I've got to bring it up. Riley O'Brien.
Painful. So painful.
I think, it's hard because last week the title of the pod was Rob Kicked a Goal. And we were waxing lyrical about it. But like we said last week, you won by 99 points.
Mm.
I mean, Benny Mack could have received a ball at our half-back line from Lukey Nankervis, taken 7 running bounces and dobbed one from 30 without getting touched by a West Coast player.
I reckon I could have.
But Rob's marking for a ruckman, I don't know.
It's not there. It's not what it used to be.
No. It used to be solid.
Yep.
I'd love to know his contested mark numbers. And I know it's hard because he's doing majority of the ruck himself.
Mm.
Where some teams have 2 ruckmen or their second ruckman may be a lot better than ours. But I don't know. I'm just wondering. We obviously signed Toby Murray last week, which is Nick Murray's brother, who looks like a project ruckman, a 200-centimetre ruckman. And you got Thilthorpe and everything. Where is Rob at? Where do we see Rob in 12 months, 18 months? Do you see him? And Soph, I'll ask you this. After next year, we'll say 18 months from now, in 2026, do you see Rob as the Crows' number 1 ruck?
No.
Nah.
No. How old is he now?
Let me just scroll back to the top here. He is 28, and on his marking, he's averaging just below 2 marks a game.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
And in terms of, how you get average, below average, all that stuff. So, won't worry about fantasy points, not really an issue. He's below average in disposals, kicks, handballs. He's an average in marks, clearances, and tackles. His disposal efficiency is below average. His kicks is below average. Handballs, inside 50s is below average. Effective kicks, kick efficiency, even his frees 4 are below average. It's just not great. And I'm assuming they take that compared to other rucks. If it's the whole comp, then, maybe fair enough. But I'm assuming that would be to other rucks. But I don't know. Like I said with Brodie Smith, I don't see him providing a great deal at the moment. His hit-outs go to the opposition more times than not. He drops marks around the grounds. He's not athletic. He's often getting beaten around the ground. He can
run a long way. And we always know that he's had great time trial stats. He's been a great performer in Crows preseason time trial. So endurance is good.
Yeah.
Right? But
yeah, this game, because obviously Meek was out this week for the Hawks. So his game was against Ned Reeves. And who's this? Connor Nash was in the ruck for half the time. And Rob won the hit-outs easily, but they didn't go to anyone.
It's games like these that show you the deficiencies of your team.
Yeah.
And by deficiencies, I mean players. In the same way that there's downhill skiers, when a team's going really well, some players tend to play well. This year, if we're taking anything out of it, it's who's not going to be here 1 year, 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. When Damien Hardwick went to Gold Coast, he said, 80% of my next premiership team is right here. 20% is. So you got to get rid of 20% of your side. Maybe 80% is already on our list. Maybe we just need maybe 5 or 6 new players in different positions could be part of our next premiership side. But at the moment, I just find myself identifying players that just aren't going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit like that. Further on, Rob. So he won hit-outs by 15. We lost clearances by 10, which paints a picture of where his taps are going. But, yeah, I just don't know.
There are 4 players that haven't been in our team for a couple of weeks now, and without them, you just realise it's just not good to watch. So, like, Rankin, Worrell, Murray and Filthy are 4 key players in my mind that if all 4 of them are in the team, we're more exciting to watch. And there's that spark. There was no spark on the weekend. It was so dull.
I think it's safe to say if those 4 players were a 6 to 8 goal better team.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Rankin on his own, he's 3 to 4 goals.
You've got Muzz down the other end stopping the opposition from getting their goals.
Worrell has probably
Worrell
been
too.
the highlight, one of, if not the highlight in terms of improvement, especially coming off the back of last year, the way he's played this year before he got injured.
Massively.
Sensational. Massive for them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, every team's missing some players. But at the moment, just, Crows aren't getting it done. And more than anything, this Thursday night, I just want to see them put in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to see the effort. I don't give a fuck if we lose by 3 goals, whatever. Because you look at Richmond and you look at what they did up at Geelong the other night.
Yep.
Till 3/4 time, they're right in that game. Then, okay, they get tired and whatever. But they're going 3 men at every bloke who's got the ball, hunting in numbers. Like, that's just, like, you want pride in the effort that your team shows. All right. Don't know how we're going to do these. But before we get to the feedback from socials, let's do some Bungie medal votes. Unless, Soph, do you have any notes on Laird and Fogg from that game?
No.
No, didn't think so.
I don't know where else this is going to fit. I've got some other things that I wrote down that could be worth discussing. So Caitlin did touch on this in the group chat, the Patreon chat as well. It was something that I'd already written down as well. Talking about the development issues at the club versus are we just picking dud players?
Interesting as well. Andrew Jarman was talking about this on Triple M this afternoon too.
Oh, was he? There you go.
Great minds.
So I know especially in the chat, everyone is always talking about draft picks, who we picked versus people around, how much better they are, blah, blah, blah.
Captain hindsight, whatever. Yeah.
Obviously, when we picked our players, they were rated highly at the time for a reason. And there's no guarantee that the players that have gone to other clubs, either side of our players, would have been who they are today had they come to us.
Yeah.
Which leads into the huge amount of talent that we've seen come into our club that has either been delisted, asked for a trade or traded or whatever. Is it a coincidence that we've had all this talent over the years that have been duds, or is it a development issue that we're seeing in the club? Like the numbers that we're seeing, I just don't know that it's us picking dud players versus we can't develop the players.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's always been a mantra around the Crows, at least, where they draft for talent and they trade for need. So they're never drafting for need. Who knows? It might be, for example, in Dan Curtin last year, maybe you do both. Maybe you draft for talent, who you think is the most talented person at your pick, who also just happens to be one of your needs.
Yeah.
But consistently, we're not seeing enough out of the players, and this is going back 5 or 6 years. Okay, you can have some success in players. You can't get them all wrong. And I'm not saying the Crows are terrible at it, but we're not seeing the success that we thought we would be. And it's definitely concerning because it was like last year or maybe the year before when we're saying, oh, all these players, when they play another 20, 30, 40 games together, they're going to be fantastic. And now none of them are there. McHenry, Pedler. I mean, Chase Jones is doing okay without setting the world on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, forgive me if I'm missing anyone. Like, you're always going to find gems later on too who really put the effort in, like Nankervis.
Yeah.
Great. Worrell, I think, was like a 20s pick.
Yep.
That's good. But, like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Exactly.
So
Simple. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it can't be a coincidence that there have been so many that just haven't worked.
It just seems like a trend at the moment, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we need to try and stop that and put something in place and make a change. But
Yeah. And on that sort of topic, if you're someone who's getting into the club about Mackesy, shut up.
I'm so sick of people bringing that specific pick up.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many other factors in why that didn't work, and it doesn't correlate to any of our other situations.
like Sam Shaw,
Exactly.
same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just really interested to see, bring it back to a better note, when we are, and we will be, when we are more than competitive and we're sitting in a top 4 spot, whenever that may be, the players that we're talking about now, where will they be? Like, will they be in our team? How will they be playing? Will we be able to look back on this and go, you know what? It was just a year to write off, because who knows, maybe next year, another preseason under their belt, they'll all gel together with a few new additions. There'll be more cohesion, a better start to the year with less injuries, and we'll hit the ground running. But at the moment, obviously, without trying to get down in the dumps, it's just hard to see a light at the end of the tunnel after a performance like that, which is clearly our worst all year.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
I'd love them to go back to 2017, watch some highlights of those games, and just see how we played, how we gelled, because that was elite in so many areas that year.
Yeah.
And, like, just take some notes and see what you can do to try and get back there.
Yeah. Even like a couple of years, like 16, 17,
Yeah.
15 to an extent, that sort of stuff.
Like, I know the game has changed since then, but there are so many things that they could just try to get back there. I don't know.
And there was a progression back then. Like, you saw 15, 16, 17, we were getting better year on year on year. It's like, okay, there's a timeline there. Like, you can see clearly with more games, there was that consistent level of improvement.
Yeah.
And then the eventual drop, which comes with everybody. But at the moment, it just feels like stuck in a hole, just going round and round in a washing machine.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right, Bungie medal votes. This will be interesting.
Yeah. So who you got?
I'm making changes, but 1 vote to Ball Ace, 2 votes to Crouch, 3 votes to Hinge.
Jeez. Identical. Mirror to mine.
Oh, there you go.
Hinge 3. Cream, who you got?
Hinge 3. I mean, it's hard to argue. Ball Ace 2. I'll say Keen 1.
All right. So means Hinge gets the 3 unanimously. Crouch and Ball Ace split the 2 with 4 votes in total. And Keen gets the 1.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's
It's just,
disappointing reading out votes for a game like that. But
It was so hard to choose because there was literally only like 4 or 5 players that I thought made kind of an impact
someone
that
did get
weren't
'em.
completely horrible.
Yes. All right. Now, are we playing the voice messages now or at the end of the pod? What do you want to do, Soph?
We'll do it now, but if you want to go to a different social media for a minute while I connect.
Sure.
But I'm connected right now, so we could always just do it now.
I'll get Facebook up while we listen to these.
All right.
Benny, what do you got?
I'll
IG?
jump on Twitter.
Yep. You've got Instagram, Soph?
All right, I'll suss that in a minute. Let's do the voicemails.
What is going on?
Very well said.
Oh.
All right, next one.
Strongly agree.
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the Crowject, my first time chiming in.
Hello.
Alice Springs local commentator Joshua Graveling here. I've reserved myself until this game because, ladies and gentlemen, our performance against Hawthorn, oh my
Oh, I can't get out of it. Hang on. Sorry.
lordy lord, I cannot believe it. I'm stunned. I really am. I know it was at the MCG, but it's not that much of a home ground advantage when it's Hawthorn. But anyway, they got on their bike, they ran a muck, and then they benched Tex, I think, at halftime. Absolutely terrible strategy there.
He couldn't move.
Why bench Tex? Yes, I know they go for Tex all the time, and we've always wanted Tex to be benched. But no, we benched Tex in one of the most vital games of the season.
His
I
back was
really don't
hurting.
know where to go from here. We probably won't make the 8 now.
Probably is.
Crowject, give me your thoughts. Joshua Graveling commentary out. See ya.
Well, Josh, you hit the nail on the head other than Tex.
That was a genuine injury. It wasn't just because
It wasn't a
we
tactical
felt
sub.
like it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, other than that, pretty
That'd
pretty
be the
spot
worst tactical sub of all time, if I'm honest, when you've only kicked 2 goals in a half. Here's
Put
an
the
idea,
key
let's get
forward
rid
out.
of Tex.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
So, you know when your partner says, hey, after the football, can you just get these small jobs done?
Oh,
Yeah, sure, babe, no worries. I've started them. There is no cohesion whatsoever. It's half time. I'm going to keep listening to the broadcast, but unless something changes, I don't see myself being back in front of the TV today.
Mood.
was that Max from Melbourne?
I was about
I
to
think-
say, is that our man Max?
I think it was.
Max, was that you? We still owe you merch. Get in touch.
This is the first time we sent a voice message since we offered him the merch.
I know.
So,
Like, otherwise, if you don't want the merch, you can just come on next week and be like, oh, we suck. Also, I don't want your fucking merch.
But please let me know so I can send it to
Yes.
you because, I've got it all.
It's a free beanie.
exactly.
Hey, guys, like everybody, I think we're all just a bit flat. Round 12 rounds left in the year, and obviously finals is more than likely out of the equation unless we catch fire after the bye and just go on an absolute fucking tear. But I don't see it happening. So now's the time to put a line in the fucking sand and say, look, let's play some kids. Let's fucking change some things, get rid of the fucking dead weight, and look forward to 2025 and have a fucking real crack. But not knowing, I don't know if they will. I think that's the most deflating thing about it. Like, we came into this year with such promise and such high hopes. And yeah, I'm just flat.
Is that Max again?
But I'll wear the Guernsey and watch the footy again next week. Love the Crows. Love you guys. Thanks.
Love that voicemail. Spade's a fucking spade, mate.
Yep.
Also,
Beautiful.
how many years when we're in this position do we say, can we just prepare for the next year, drop the players who don't deserve to be there and play the kids? And how many times do we actually do that?
Never.
None. All right, and last one.
Hello. How is everybody? I hope we're all having an amazing night, morning, evening, whatever.
Oh, so
A
good.
couple of things to say. First off, Rob, I do apologise for commenting on your fused vertebrae. I didn't know he had such amazing goal-kicking form.
Is this
Must
from
have
last
learned
week?
From someone like Jason Portpleasure. I take back everything I said, Rob. You are the greatest in the league, and I will
Maybe
never doubt
did
you again.
Leighton send us an old
And
one?
then secondly, bit of a prediction. Everyone's saying, we're done now. There's no finals, X, Y, Z. Probably true. They're all saying play Dowling, play Curtin, play
Did we
those
listen to
dudes.
this last week?
I'm just thinking they're going to come in and they're going to get absolutely manhandled, and it's going to scare the daylights out of them, and they're never going to be the players they thought they were going to be. I think it was Braden Cook who said he thought he was the bee's knees in the NFL. He came to the actual, the ones, and he was so out of his league. It's insane. I think we saw that a little bit with, what's his name, Curtins. He played all right, but he just wasn't quite up to par. I'd love to know what you guys think about this, how you think it's going to go when we bring in all the little ones.
What week is this from?
We're a bit of the Twilight Zone here.
What is happening?
You see, the message before that, Leighton unsent one, and I'm wondering if he unsent the wrong one.
Yeah, potentially.
I still think
But
it's
anyway,
current
comment.
because he said now we're all saying bring in Dowling and all of that. So I think it's one from this week. But the first half of that made it sound like last week.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but anyway,
Interesting point.
I mean, even if they come in and get absolutely smashed for the rest of the season, I'm fine with that. I'm reserved with the fact that we're not playing finals. So bring them in, get them some experience. Just blood them. If we get smacked by Richmond this week, so be it.
Yeah.
It genuinely does not matter.
All right. I'm jumping straight into Facebook because I've got 3%. Let's go. Matt Warren, absolutely disgraceful. Couldn't hit the side of a barn with a shotgun. Big guys got pushed off the ball far too easily by lesser opponents. That was our season right there. We'll not make the 8 now. That's a tick.
I don't have a tick, but I can give you a clap.
Yep, great. We'll do that. Wade Taylor, pathetic and abysmal. Bang on, mate. That was a bigger disappointment and embarrassment of a performance since the night when we only kicked 2 goals 9 against Essendon at Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Still reminding me of that painful day.
Nathan Manning, bathwater drinkers. Yep. Said it before. I could not agree more. Sam Durden. Toby Murray for Burgess, Dowling for Murphy, Curtin for Smith, Strawn for Rob, Gallant or Pedler for Tex, and Edwards for Dawson, who is clearly injured today and needs a rest. But our coaching staff are too weak to roll the dice and do something daring to bring in life back into our already dead season. Never going to make that many changes.
Yeah.
But
I think stiff on Burgess as well.
yeah,
He
I
was
think
okay.
Burgess was okay. Dowling definitely has to come in. I'd bring Curtin in. I don't think they'll drop Rob. And I think Gollant will come in for Tex, and that'll be about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably... Murray after... He's been playing with the SANFL for the first half, anyway, like Toby Murray, that is.
Yes.
There's a chance, maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
how quickly do they bring Nick Murray in? Because he played on the weekend, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
And he dominated, but I reckon they probably give him
One
one more in the SANFL and then back for the Sydney game.
Terry Kager, time for a rebuild. Mate, we're in the middle of a rebuild. You can't rebuild the rebuild. All right, this one's not working. Let's start again.
Jeez.
Alexandra Barnett, valued Patreon. What an absolute shit show. We are going to be battling North and the Eagles for the bottom this year with a spoon emoji.
Well, we've beaten both, so,
Yeah.
we're going to be third last.
And Matt N, we have no midfield. Justin Reid and Hamish are flogs.
Jeez.
And Roy Glossop said, is this podcast run by an 11-year-old boy in response to the post of the end of the game? If you haven't seen it, please head to the Crowject podcast.
Ray's response
And
was top
Ray
notch to
said,
this.
I heard he reads at a 13-year-old level, so it's fine.
Over on Twitter, James Payne, Patreon and friend of the pod, who did try and tell me not to go to this game after the Eagles game, just said absolutely insipid performance, summing it up perfectly. The Iron Curtain says, 0 excuses not to bring in some kids this week. Season is over. Phase out the pensioners and start making long-term decisions. Andy PR says 2025 is calling, terrible and gone backwards. And Alex says, lost on effort alone today. I'd like to see the data on calories burned by a few. Why do we have a give it a crack mode and a terrified mode? I seriously question the attitude and confidence of Nix is instilling in our kids.
Very good.
Mm.
Over on Instagram, we had some responses from our final time score. Jazz says, why can't I just be a Sydney supporter? Feels. Tyler says, drop Smith, Rochelle Walker, and rest Crouch. Give the young blokes a go. They'll show more heart. Mini Tim, Dowling, Curtin, and Murray in, please. And let's go with Middle Earth, Arix. And to think many of us were so pumped for this season. Fuck. Beautiful.
Cool. All right. Where's the Patreon list here?
Keep flipping. Keep going. Why is there an empty page?
Oh,
you got the double front page.
Yeah, what is happening here? What I wanted to do
I think it was that page.
It's on the top of
Yep.
that one.
What I wanted to do was just give a shout out to everyone who did leave a voice message and let people know if they want to leave one anytime throughout the game on Thursday night or afterwards. You can reach us on 8246 5498. No doubt we'll be playing all of them at the end of this pod if we haven't already. And want to give a shout out to our Patreons, particularly those who donate $10 or more a month. You do not have to if you want to become one. You can donate as little as $1 a month. You still get everything. But a special shout out to Jenny McArdle, Hayden Arthur, a.k.a. The Real Hilf, Jordan Marnie, Jess Cook, Dave Carnivale, Jake Bockove, Drew Corner, Sam Curtis, Sean Marie Davies, Brendan McGarrigan, James Payne, Simone McDonald, Jerome Withers, Paul David Clennett, Matt and Neil Roylance, and our new Patreons, Justin Cobley and Callum Ryan. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Now, if you want to get any merch, you can go to crowject.bigcardell.com. Soph's good at drawing, so she does some stuff on jumpers and...
I did. I just released a Murray one, and it's a good thing that both brothers look alike because it could be for either brother.
Lovely.
And no
we'll
worries.
just say that you did it knowing that the Crows were going to take Toby
Oh,
in
absolutely.
the mid-season draft, and we'll call it there.
Yeah.
Just a big SANFL fan, really.
Oh, absolutely. And it says on there, no worries with the team with Murray. Definitely not related to Murray's pest control at all.
No.
No, would be weird.
Can we change it to say with a team with Murray's?
Well, I was going to say I should edit it and put an S on the end
Yeah.
now.
Because I think that is the slogan for said pest control company, so there could be a little
Yeah,
bit
that's
of
true.
right,
So
yeah.
we're keeping it
We
different.
can't
It's
go
just
plural.
one Murray.
It has to be the singular.
It's just one Murray.
Which means at one time there can only either be Nick or Toby in the team. This is
Yep.
like Mackay's playing each other all over again.
Exactly
Except
right.
that's going to happen this weekend.
Oh, yes, it is.
And we can't listen to Pete Murray when they play.
True.
Of course not.
Yes.
And also, Saligo's playing his 50th game this weekend, so I will be doing a Saligo design releasing in a couple of days
Beautiful.
Lovely stuff.
when I finish it.
Very close to your actual design name too. Soli and Saligo.
Yes, indeed.
I like it. All right, let's jump into the news. Unfortunately, it does not get any better. But on a brighter note, I said I'd give a mate of mine a shout out today because it's her birthday. Anita, happy birthday. Hope you had a great day. She's eating all you can eat sushi at the minute.
Oof.
So I know where I'm going tomorrow for lunch. Now, Dawson's going through a fitness test pre-match because he had a foot complaint.
Yeah, so about 2 hours before the game, there were tweets going around being like, oh, he might not play, had a test and obviously passed it and played, but Nixie said at either halftime or after the game he had a foot complaint. So wasn't anything too serious apparently, but let's see if he plays this week.
They have said that they're trying to push him to get to the bye.
Yeah.
Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know.
Yes, another team down the other side of Port Road did that with a player a couple of weeks ago, and look how well that turned out.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Now, this bloke here, who I've been associated with in the past, had a very decent season. Probably been outside of Saligo and Rankin when he's moved through there. Probably our best midfielder. Sorry, Rory Laird. But arguably our most consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Through every game. Matt Crouch with an AC joints injury. It's come out today that he's going to have surgery on it and he's going to miss the rest of the year.
Yep.
Which is a damn shame.
Yes.
Is he contracted till the end of this year?
I think it'd be next year. Because
I'll suss. I'll let you know in a while.
Let's have a look.
I want to say it's the end of next year, but
I'm going to say it's the end of this one, but I'm not sure. Oh, wait, no, he re-signed for 2, didn't he?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you might be
Yeah.
right. Well, in that case, fingers crossed you heal up as soon as possible, and Lord knows we'll need you whenever you're ready.
No, absolutely.
At the end of 2023, he signed a 2-year extension.
There you go.
Yeah, so next
Yeah.
year.
Next year.
And to play through that and have 35 touches and 7 tackles, by the way, huge effort.
Yeah, because I don't know when he apparently did that, but he played out the game, so good work.
As we mentioned before, Nick Murray returned via the SANFL. We'll touch on that shortly. Toby Murray, as we said, the second Murray to be drafted by the Crows. So good to see Ned McHenry with an alpaca or whatever it was, a goat. What was he old?
It's a sheep.
Sheep. Furry thing.
It's called chops.
Oh,
Or chops.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
chops.
I'm just picturing them living in some random property, just like mid-city, just not even on their farm. Because I'm assuming they don't live on their farm during
No, they wouldn't.
No, I
season.
don't think so.
So they just live in like, West Beach or something with a goat out the back and a lamb and all sorts of stuff.
Well, Ned takes it for walks down the street all the time.
That's even more ludicrous than Daniel Talia walking his cat back in the day. But
Oh, Jesus. And next up, Benny Mack is going to touch on who the Crows will be facing in the AFLW fixture, which has come out.
Indeed. And we've largely avoided those midweek fixtures that we spoke about last week somewhat. We start the season with an away showdown against Port Adelaide on Saturday, August 31st, 7:15, so a night showdown. Fremantle in Perth the following Sunday. Hawthorn at Unley Oval, 12:35 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon, and that sounds like a special for Sophie and I to sit on the eastern wing.
Oh,
How
I
good.
cannot wait.
Back it up the week after against Essendon at Unley Oval, 12:35 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. Head to Brisbane the week after on a Sunday afternoon. Friday night at Norwood Oval against St Kilda, October 4th.
This one is the day after my birthday, so that is going to go off on a Friday night.
Head
So
down to
they
the
better win.
parade, get absolutely tanked and watch the Crows win by 85 points. No worries at all.
Except I don't drink, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, well, I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
But then the next game we head 5-day break. Wednesday, the 9th of October against Melbourne, Norwood, 7:15 p.m. Wednesday night football is an interesting one, but we'll run with it.
Yeah.
Sunday, so we play again 4 days later. So we have 3 days and 3 games in about 12 days. GWS in either Sydney or Canberra. I have no idea where Henson Park is. Collingwood at Victoria Park just a week later. North Melbourne at Norwood on Friday, October 25th. And we round out the season with a trip to GMHBA Stadium to face Geelong, which will be between October 31st and November the 3rd.
Can I just say, I was hoping that we wouldn't have to play Brisbane away.
Yeah.
It's the one fixture I didn't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
tax of being good, unfortunately. We've got, Brisbane, Melbourne.
Well, you're always going to play the better teams, but I just wanted to play Brisbane over here.
Yeah.
Get a bit of revenge.
To be fair, recent history, we play better over there against them, to be honest. We've beaten them a couple of times up there and they've beaten us here. So we'll take the away fixture.
Yeah, but it's good to see there's multiple blocks of back-to-back home games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, between the 8th of September and the 29th of September, we play 2 games at Unley. Between the 29th of September and the 13th of October, we played 2 games at Norwood. So good opportunity to stay at home for a week or so, couple of days.
Is that during the school holidays? Is that why they did those
I think
midweek
that's what
comps?
they said. Yeah. What would it be? Yeah, that would work out about right. Yeah.
Now, as we touched on, Nick Murray, a long-awaited return was made through the SANFL on the weekend. So, before we touch on Nick Murray's stats, could you please read out the result from the SANFL on the weekend?
Absolutely. We went down to the Bloods. We scored 7 goals, 12-54 to the Bloods, 11 goals, 8-74.
You know what that sounds like to me?
What, Cream?
What's the age-old saying?
Bad kicking is bad football.
Correct.
Thank you.
Indeed.
You have one more scoring shot and you lose by 20 points. Well,
Yeah.
Can only blame yourself.
Mm.
But yeah, as we mentioned, so Nick Murray came back. He had 18 disposals, 15 kicks, 7 marks, 3 handballs, 3 tackles, 2 free kicks, 4. So he had a pretty good return and he made the best players, I think, as well. He was top best player, which is nice to see. Daniel Curtin had 21 touches, 17 kicks, 7 marks. So it looks like they were a bit of a 1-2 punch down back. Billy Dowling had 30 touches, took 8 marks, 21 kicks, 2 clearances, 6 tackles. Strawn had a pretty decent game, but I don't think we'll see him in like we said before. Who else got in the best here? Dowling, Gallagher, Bond, and Strawn. So Hugh Bond as well, 15 disposals, 8 kicks, 3 marks, and 3 tackles. Not too bad of a game. Don't think we'll be seeing him get a call up, but you never know. Other notable players, Luke Pedler didn't do a lot. Had 14 touches, kicked 2 points.
what about Ned?
Ned McHenry. Did he play? I don't think he played.
Okay.
Didn't play. Toby Murray had 10 touches, kicked 2 goals.
Yep.
Harry Boyle, who is another brother, I did see a post.
Yeah,
so the brother of
that's
Jay
true.
Boyle.
Yep.
So we're running around with 2 sets of brothers in the league. And just to touch on Will Hamill really quickly, didn't play SANFL, was a travelling emergency, but ran about 15 Ks after the game while the kicking the catch was happening on the MCG.
Beautiful. And sorry about before, same amount of scoring shots, lost by 20 points.
Close
Couldn't do
Yes.
that. All right, next game. Fingers crossed we can get this over and done with as soon as possible. Although if the Crows put in the same performance they did on the weekend, there might be riots in the streets. Playing against the Tigers, let's go over changes. Who's a forced out?
You'd think
Crouch?
Tex and Crouch.
Tex.
Surely Tex doesn't play.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you don't risk him for this game.
Potentially Dawson.
And
I would-
how many changes do you think that we'll make?
I reckon they'll do 4 ins.
You need to make a statement, I reckon.
Oh, I was going
Yeah.
to say, I think you get
4
think
or
you look at-
5
Yeah,
even.
4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 4 to 5.
Curtin comes back in.
Yep.
Dowling comes in. I think Gollant comes back in. Comes in. Who else?
I really want Murray back in, but I feel like they'll give him another week
Yeah.
in the Sandville.
I think,
as
I
much
think
as
after
I
such
really
a big
want him
injury,
in.
I think he probably gets another week.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be those 3 at a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely. Dowling has to play, doesn't he? Like,
If he doesn't play now, then they're just not
he's-
going to play him.
Never, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get a better opportunity to play someone
Mm.
than him right now.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. But I don't know, in terms of our opposition, Richmond, are they going to have enough players to play? I don't know. They're still talking about resting Dusty. I don't know who comes
I was
in.
going to say, do they have a player to replace him, though?
Let me just run through their injury list for you at
Please
the moment.
do.
So we've got Jacob Bauer there with a quad. He's a test for this week, so he might be okay. Shea Bolton will be out due to concussion. Judson Clark's done an ACL. Mate Kalina, I don't know who that is, but he's to be confirmed long-term injury. Liam Fawcett's back, long-term injury. Josh Gibkiss, ACL. Jack Graham, hamstring, is a test for this week. Dylan Grimes to be confirmed. Another back injury. They got a lot of back injuries. Jacob Hopper, hamstring, 3 to 4 weeks. Tom Lynch, hamstring, 2 to 3 weeks. Ryan Mansell's in concussion protocols. Sam Naismith, ACL. Morris Rioli Jr., 6 to 8 weeks with his ankle. Jack Ross, Tim Taranto, Tyler Young, and I think,
That's like 16 players.
and they had another ACL on Saturday night, Lafau.
yeah.
I don't know who the hell they're
Jeepers.
bringing over for this team, but
Nah,
they might
surely they can't rest Dusty in that case. Like, you've got literally no one to pick from.
yeah, pretty much. But I'm quite okay with him not playing his 300th game here at the Adelaide Oval.
But also we'll be there, so we won't have to listen to the commentators talk about him constantly. Unless it's a good game and it's worth watching the replay. And then we'll have to deal with it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But you know what's more exciting than Dusty's 300th?
I know there's a bigger milestone.
Saligo's 50th. And what an exciting time that's going to be.
100%. And if Richmond don't stay on the ground and give him a chair off like we did for Jack Gunston, then, I've lost faith in
We're
the
going to
game,
come for him.
Yeah,
Thursday night, we're also doing the Freeze
Indeed.
event.
There are a few people who have been announced
There's
for that.
been 3, I think.
Greg Blewett, Rory Sloan.
And
someone. Is Andrew Jarman?
Jarman, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Greg
so
Blewett.
That's good. I don't think that they've... Yeah, Jars.
Jars and Rory Sloan, yeah.
I don't know that they've released too much information about the time that it's happening or where in the ground it's happening.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good cause. So
100%.
Get your big freeze beanies before the game and hopefully we can all come together and support a great cause.
Indeed. It should be, I was going to say it should be a fun night, but maybe it's not. We'll support that cause, and if we lose, then that's the only reason we were there. If we put up an effort like last week, that's the only reason I want to be at the ground, to be perfectly honest for you.
Yeah. I think all anyone wants to see is us to actually try and put in an effort. If we lose, as long as we've blooded kids, I don't care, as long as there's some effort.
Go down swinging.
And we look like we actually wanted to be out there and try.
Exactly right.
That's all I'm asking for right now.
And for Saligo's 50th, you would think that they will get up for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we'll see. You've gone over what you think's going to happen?
Not yet. We haven't done our predictions yet.
Okay, all right.
We thought we would wait for you.
Prediction time. Sophie, you go first.
I'm going to have some faith and we're going to win by 23 points.
Okay.
I don't have any other stats because I'm a bit
Benny
sad.
Yeah, no, that's... I'm going to come in here with faith and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to look like Sportsbet with the Crows at $1.12 and the line at 35.5 and be like, I really want to ignore the fact that the plus for Richmond looks good for that. But Crows by 40, a nice, easy win. No problems. Get in, get out, get it done.
I think Dowling's going to debut and he's going to kick a goal on debut.
That would be nice.
Just going to sneak forward and get one.
I think... Firstly, that line for Richmond.
Value.
Oh, mate, smack it. Honestly, smack the living daylights out of that.
Yeah.
Because Richmond will bring that same intensity that they did, and the Crows will have no other choice. If they want to win, they need to be switched on, and they need to put together the kind of first quarter performance that they did against West Coast.
Yep.
Otherwise, if they find themselves behind, unfortunately, if the Crows go 3 or 4 goals behind, I can't see them clawing back a Richmond team full of confidence.
Yep.
In saying that, I think the Crows will win by 8 points.
God, if it's that close, I'm just...
I say that with no confidence whatsoever. However, based on how they played against West Coast, I'm just hoping that they turn up like they did in that game at home.
Yeah.
And they try and gain back some of the respect that they lost on Saturday.
Yep.
Indeed.
Simple as that.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up the main pod, I reckon. Does anyone else have anything to add?
No, nothing from me.
No. Well, we won't be doing a preview pod this week just because we do have an early game this week. But if you want to listen to our segment street or anything exclusive to Patreon, you can subscribe by going to patreon.com/Crowject. You get a whole bunch of shows, Obscure Crows, all of our pre-rolls. You won't understand much of our pods if you don't listen to them. Like get your crow on with Leighton, all his Guernsey stuff, and segment streets. Follow us on socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at Crowject. And if you want to get merchandise, where do you go, Ben?
You go to crowject.bigcartel.com.
What do you get, Soph?
Well, you can get our special Crom bundle, which is a scarf, beanie, stubby holder, and stickers for only $49.95. We only have 5 of those left. So get in quick if you wanted to make use of that great deal.
Have we got any of those plush oversized hoodies left?
We sure do. I've got a whole unopened box in my room, so feel free to buy those. It's the perfect weather at the moment, and
Honestly,
they are toasty warm.
Just started pissing down with rain last week. Didn't know what I was seeing outside the window, but I've been wearing mine to bed, and I'm as snug as a bug in a rug, that thing.
It's amazing. We've also got, obviously, our beanies, our scarves, stickers, air fresheners, cordis, bucket hats.
Anything you could want to keep
pretty
warm
much.
at the footy.
Exactly.
Can't promise it'll get here by Thursday night.
No, probably not.
Next home game, probably.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, regardless, get down and support the Crows this Thursday night. Not sure if we'll have 52,912 people like the Matildas did on Friday night. But if we can get 42,000, that'll be a win on a Thursday night. We generally turn out in good numbers. So get behind them and fingers crossed they can make amends for the weekend.
Indeed.
Go Crows.
Go Crows.
Crom.